Hey everybody. On this Theological Tuesday, I would like to continue the videos I'm doing on questioning the Christian culture in this country, particularly the more stricter Baptist side of the Christian circles. Um, Coincidentally, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. It could be today is Valentine's Day, depending on when you're watching this. I'm not sure why you would watch me rant about stuff on Valentine's Day, but if you have, that's what this video is about. Me and my wife were just talking about something like it got my mind on this topic because we were both raised completely differently. See, like I've told you all, I'm pretty much the picture perfect definition of a choir boy, where a Baptist choir boy that is. Whereas my wife grew up in a completely like a broken home, not in church at all, bad home life, stuff like that. Until she was about 14, went to church with her grandfather. She has a really great story of how she got to this point. But she can't quite understand how I was raised, and I'll get to that in a few seconds. But the question I would like to ask is, why have we raised a culture of prudes? And so if you, that's a bit of a warning for you all. If you're sensitive to the topic of sex, or if you have children, you don't want to listening to this, perfectly understand. So this is not the video for you, or if you want to take a few minutes to pause this, get somewhere where kids won't hear, whatever, stuff like that, I completely understand. But if you made through me being redundant and ranting for a little bit, I'll prove my point. Because how I was raised, going to church, every time sex was mentioned in church, it was always negative. You'd hear all these preachers talking about the evils of sex, of sex, the vile sex culture, the just evil sex, sex evil, evil sex evil, and I saw my parents doing their best to raise me and my brothers the right way. Great parents. Really avoided the subject of sex as much as possible to the as so far to they take the verse, it's not good for a man to touch a woman, to the furthest extent of the law, and seemed like they discouraged us from liking girls, which wasn't what they were doing, but it made it seem like that. Couple that with, and I didn't get to talk till I was 14. So they just completely avoided it. There was even a page torn out of the book that I was given the talk to. It's a long story. I'm not going to give you all, but man, I lost my train of thought with that rabbit trail. But the couple, how I was raised with the preaching of just sex evil, sex is evil, and it's they completely discourage sex, and I believe that's really hurt our culture, because if all you do in your preaching is talk about the evils of sex, then you're going to train your people and your children and the young generation that sex is evil, and the Bible never says that. Fornication and adultery are evil, but sex done right within the boundaries and the beauty of marriage is an incredible thing, an incredible picture of the body of Christ and all that stuff. You can actually look in the Bible and see the complete opposite of what those preachers have said. You find verses in the Bible where Solomon, I can't quote you the exact verse, I didn't think of pulling this up, but there's a proverb where Solomon says, enjoy your wife's breasts. It literally says that. And there's passage after passage after passage saying, enjoy your wife, love your wife. And just talks about the beauty of marriage and all of sex and all of that stuff. And just I don't quite get it. Now the negative side of that is there are literally Christian couples who go to counseling because one of the parties is struggling because they have the natural desire for sex, but the other partner believes it's evil and it's this vile thing. It should only be done to have children. And they got that because of the bad preaching and the bad philosophies that have been taught that sex is evil, and it's a result of the vile culture that we have nowadays, the vile sin culture that we have nowadays, as if sin is a modern issue. So I'm not saying we should be crude or overly blunt about this subject. But at the same time, I do think us preachers need to clarify that we preach against fornication and adultery, not to preach against sex, because sex is not the issue. Lust, fornication, and adultery are the issues. So if you want to preach against those things, please preach against that. Those are evil issues, evil topics. So please just continue to preach against evils, but make sure you're using the right words. Don't just preach against sex. Preach against fornication and adultery. But at the same time, parents working in conjunction with that, please, follow the Lord's teaching, the Lord's guidance. Again, I'm not advocating that anybody be blunt about this. I'm just trying to encourage us not to give a discouraging view on the topic towards the generations that we're bringing up. Again, I want to be overly redundant about this. I'm not talking about being, metal shop crude about this. No. What I am saying is, let's not discourage sex to the point that couples get married and just don't have that God-given blessing the marriage because it's evil, because preachers say it's evil. And I'm going to get into the deification of preachers in another video, but if preachers only preach negatively about sex, then some of the more shallow, less dedicated Christians are only going to hear evil about it and believe evil about it. So that's just what I want to say. That's just a sort of a question, maybe more of a rant that I have. If you disagree with me, or if you want to clarify some of the things I said, if some of what I said didn't make sense to you or was disturbing to you, please let me know in the comments below. If I'm wrong, please call me out on it. I will gladly change my mind if I'm given the right evidence and all of that stuff in the comment. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do a video response, whatever you all would like. Please like and subscribe and all that stuff. I'm trying to get some traction, trying to do this more seriously. That is, post more videos. And I'll remind you all to walk Christian walk and carry a loaded Glock.